boys and girls, today we are going to be drawing some spring flowers using oil pastels. You will be getting some black paper and oil pastels, and you'll be looking closely at some paintings of flowers and then drawing your own. And when you draw your flower, you also have this yellow worksheet that you can look at, and we really want to have a flower that is zoomed in. So this is the original flower, and then look at how this is the frame of the paper, and you want your flower and the petals of your flower touching the edges of your paper or even going off so that you don't even see the entire flower. So notice that on each of these 4 flowers, the petals are going off of the paper at some point in the picture. So go ahead and choose which flower you want to draw, and then draw that just with a pencil or a white oil pastel on your black paper. Make sure you're filling the page. So this is the example flower that I am looking at, and now I'm going to just go ahead and draw my own flower. You may pause your video and do the same. Alright, so now that you have drawn kind of your petals, notice how most of mine are going off the page, and I kind of use this as a reference for where my petals could go, how that zoomed in flower. You need to decide what colors you are going to use, and when you do that, you need to make sure that you are thinking about the color wheel as well. We have learned so far this year that we can make tints by adding white to a color and shades by adding black to a color. But we can make our colors lighter and darker using other colors on the color wheel. So when you create your flower, you are going to choose a main color for your flower. Like I am going to choose orange. And then you're going to choose a color that is on the color wheel that might make it darker, and a color that will make it lighter. So you would have to look at the colors around it. Like yellow is a color that works because it is a warm color. It looks a little bit like orange, and we can use that to mix and make orange lighter. You could also use red to make orange darker, another warm color that blends nicely with orange that we can make a shade with. So on the back of your paper, I would like you to practice making tints and shades with different colors than just white and black. So if you want your flower to be mostly orange, I would lay down the orange on your paper and then just see what happens when you add other colors to make it lighter. So you kind of lay down a long line of orange, and then on one end of it overlap with a lighter color like yellow, or you could try white. And then on the other end of it, overlap the orange with a darker color. You could do red. You could also try something else. So maybe lay down another line. If you're for sure you want orange, lay down another line of color. And maybe try brown for your shade to see if you would rather have brown as your shade with your orange. You could also use white. You can still use white to make your tints if you would like to. But just practice and experiment using things other than white and black to make your tints and shades on your back of your paper. Once you have decided on your favorite combination of 3 colors, your main color, your darker shade, and your lighter tint, then you would go back to your flower and begin to use those colors there to make those tints and shades. Notice how I tried a bunch of different things before I decided on mine. I believe that my favorite was the orange, brown, and white, and probably a little bit of yellow combination. So I'm going to work on that. So you need to start by filling your flower in with that middle color that you chose. So mine was orange. Now I'm going to start making my tints and making my orange lighter. using my yellow and probably some white. So I'm going to start to overlap my yellow. I'm going to push pretty hard at the end of my petals because that's where the sun is hitting the tips of my flower. So I'm going to do that towards the end of my petals. I'm pushing really hard and overlapping my yellow and my orange here. And then as I get closer to the middle, I'm not going to push as hard and my lines are going to be a little bit further apart. So I'm going to be slowly fading my yellow into my orange. So I'm pushing hard here and slowly getting lighter. I would do that all the way around with my tint. Then I would take my shade in the middle, which I'm using brown, and I would start to push pretty hard with my shade of my brown in the middle. And then again, kind of lighten up as I get higher into the orange. So I'm going to push hard in the middle, lighten up as I get further towards my orange and my yellow. Just to make that darker shade. I might actually add a little bit of red in here too. You can mix more than one color in for your shade if you would like to. So I might do that, and then I might even take my orange just to finish these petals and really get them blended and those colors looking nice and smooth. Kind of lightly go over everything and just blend them together. Not pushing quite as hard at the ends. And if you wanted to kind of finish it off with a white tip at the ends, you could do that in each petal as well. So I'm going to keep working on all of my petals and be right back. And after you have blended your colors all together in each one of the petals, make sure that you have kind of gone over them and made sure that they're slowly changing from light to dark. Your last step might be to then add an outline, and it depends how hard you pushed before, but you could make an outline with a lighter color or a darker color. If you left a little space between your petals, you might be able to take a lighter color and make that outline, like with my yellow that I'm doing here, in between each petal. And at the end, this is where you would add your detail. Like I have this kind of stem coming through the middle here that you could add. This could be a different color. You could add some dots or some texture to go along with this at the end. Anything that you would like to do there. So I just filled that detail in with yellow. I'm going to outline that with orange. So your last step is adding details and outlining. Make sure that you do outline so that everything kind of stands out. I might even add some little dot details in there to make it look like it has some texture. And kind of get that finished up and looking all completely done. There's your zoomed in oil pastel flower making tints and shades.